Hey, welcome back, guys. I'm actually at my sister-in-law's place, and I just wanted to show you some of the cool projects she has going on right now. We're kind of in like COVID lockdown, so we're staying pretty far apart. So I'm going to videotape her stuff, you know, pretty much just out here by myself, and I'll get her to talk about one of her projects, and then if anyone wants the builds for any of these, go check her out at Gardening in the North. But there's some pretty cool stuff that's going on over here, so let's check it out. So here is a in progress chicken coop. So they're pretty handy. Derek, Sherry's husband, is really good woodworking. So they got this really nice looking chicken run with a coop, covered run. I think it looks fantastic. You can collect water off of this, and I'm really excited to see the chickens. And I'm really hoping that my wife likes them, and maybe we can do something like this on our property. Maybe even with like a detachable tractor that I can wheel them around some of my food forests. But getting chickens into your system is really beneficial. To run any of your garden scraps or kitchen scraps through a chicken's stomach before it goes into your compost pile, that is always a fantastic thing to do. Last fall they started this food forest strip here, so this is going to be pretty exciting to see develop over the years. This is kind of right in front of their house. So you got the chicken run right there, and just to the south of that we've got this food forest strip. So I'm excited to see this take off this year, see how it develops. Okay, so I think maybe we'll get Sherry to explain the raised beds. This is the main thing. I really wanted to show you guys these raised beds. We'll get her to explain them. I'll stay, you know, my social distance, physical distance away from her. So my apologies for any poor audio in this upcoming segment. I kind of, you know, I'm trying to just keep my distance.
You guys have to go in this bed though? It's like some of the compost isn't even composted.
Hi.
So
Okay.
this area here really was wasted space. Basically, my husband and my son would cut the grass every week and we didn't use it for anything, but it gets awesome sun. So my idea was to build these really large raised beds and utilize the space and make them so that as we age, we can still reach into them. We're not bending over, we're not on our knees trying to garden, and we can plant and harvest without any trouble. So the materials we got from a local business who actually tears down used barns. So all of the material here is recycled. And if you take a close look at the 2x4s, these are actually true 2x4s, not the 2x4s that you buy in the store that are not quite the measurements, but these are real 2x4s that were used to build the barn 100 years ago. This one here is going to be my Ruth Stout experiment. So I have put together a 10x5 bed and I filled it with hay, and then I've lightly sprinkled it with some of our own compost. The idea is that when I get my seed potatoes, I'm basically going to throw them in an organized fashion, because if anyone knows me, I'm not just going to throw them in there.
They're actually wrestling in your bed.
And this is Lucy and Jax in the compost bed. So once I throw my seed potatoes in there, I will cover them with hay, and fingers crossed, Ruth Stout knows what she's talking about, and I will get a ton of potatoes.
Okay, so I just showed you Sherry's garden. We'll do a quick tour of Poppy's garden, see what he's got going on. And this will be like our little intro for the spring. And we'll come back and visit this place a little later on in the summertime when plants are going. Okay, so we just dropped that load of wood chips off for Poppy. And I want to show you guys Poppy's garden. It's been wood chipped for 2 years now. I kept telling him to try them out. He did half the garden, I think, 3 years ago, maybe 2. And then he converted the other half after he saw how good it was. But this is now 3 years later, and I want to show you guys the power of soil building with wood chips. So we'll actually dig into his garden here, and we'll take a look at the quality of the soil. Okay, so look at that. You've got about 2 to 3 inches left of wood chips, and it's just breaking down. This was, I think he put almost 16 inches of wood chips down last year. But let's see how frozen this is, and I'll show you the soil. So this is soil building with wood. This was wood chips. So if anyone doubts, let's go even further down. If anyone doubts how well wood chips, it's hard because it's frozen at the bottom. Look at this. This is like, what is that? That's probably 8 inches down. And do you see how like fluffy and light it is? This is just, you know, when he says it's gold, we all kind of laugh because he always says it's gold. It's gold, Jerry, it's gold. So when he says it's gold, it is gold. You know, it is just so incredible. And what a soil builder wood chips can be. So consider using a deep wood chip mulch. Well, for anyone who's never seen Poppy's garden, this is kind of the annual veggie garden bed. He's got a berry patch up here on the north side. He's got apples. He's got a row of cherries and some blueberries that didn't do very well because I think the soil's not acidic enough. He lines carrots on the front. He's got daffodils coming up now that I gave him last year as a border. He's got 2 cherry bushes right in the middle of his garden because his garden used to come, you know, not very far over actually, and he's been extending it. So he's extended it out. He runs his potatoes in bins there, and he's got garlic in the patch right there. So he'll do a couple rows of greens and peppers and tomatoes on the trellis here. We've got 3 food forest strips here that he's installed. A bunch of fruit trees in there, bushes, trees at about 15-foot centers, bushes in the middle of them. Kind of all the same host of characters that I have over at my property. We'll go shopping at the end of season auction, and he'll see me buying stuff, and he'll pick up the odd thing as well, doing a fruit tree orchard strip, but in kind of a permaculture dense planting way. And then over here, his veggie garden's just on the other side of the truck there. Over here we've got 2 pears, elderberry bush, and 2 pears there, and 2 peaches here that he's doing. And then he's got this gorgeous oak. 2 oaks. This is just one of my favorite trees around. It's just so beautiful. So this is, you know, where I get some acorns, fill up a bag, and I'll plant some trees out in the wild. We've got fresh manure that we just dropped off. We've got 6-month to 8-month-old manure there. So that's what it looks like before. That's what it looks like after. So just a little bit of turning and helps speed up the breakup of the manure. And then he's got his compost bins that he's done a nice spacing on. These boards are all loose, so you can pull off a board at a time. It's got some spacers in between, and then he can still get air at the pile, but then it looks nice as well from the, you know, from the house. And this is leaves, a little bit of manure, and grass clippings. So no food scraps in those. He does his food scraps in locked bins. So that's it for Poppy's place. We'll come check it out when he's got stuff planted out and when things are leafed out. Hope you enjoyed it.